We are shifting from the language of mixed orientation marriage to queerly covenanted. Why do you think this is a better fit for us?
This comes as a result of us, well, for those of you who don't know us, we're Pieter and Susie, and we've been married for 23 years, coming up on 24 this June. And I came out to Sue about 3 years ago. And Sue has been an amazing ally. She has been a huge supporter as we've gone through this journey together. And I think many of you in this room have experienced her generosity of spirit and her love and support for our LGBTQ plus community as well. One of the reasons for going in this direction in terms of describing our relationship as a queerly covenanted relationship is because we're actually not supposed to be in this situation. We're not supposed to exist. And in fact, there's not language to describe who we are. And so when you're trying to wrestle with what does this all mean, and when you're hoping for guidance and wisdom from the church, and they're not able to step up to the plate to offer insight, wisdom, because they're just not in a place to do that. It falls on us to try and figure that out in a way that honors each other. So I honor you, I love you, and so even though this isn't supposed to be, we are trying to find our path that we don't do further damage or harm to each other, that we respect what we have. And so for you and I to look at what is true of our relationship and embrace that. And to release what is not true of our relationship. So we are not a heterosexual couple. And for us to wrestle with what that means in terms of truth. And I think of where Jesus says that truth shall set you free. What does that mean for us? So to know that in the future, we together are going to be a part of each other's lives, whatever or however that looks. I can't imagine you not being a part of my life. We share children together, we share family together, so what does it mean to be covenanted together as family, as ones who care for each other deeply? We're more than each other's best friends, and yet we're not a heterosexual couple. And so how do we align ourselves according to that truth in a way that honors faithfulness, honors covenant, honors who you are as a person, and honors who I am as a person. So that's why I think being queerly covenanted best describes us as opposed to a heterosexual couple. Since my coming out, there have been painful experiences. But what has been a positive, or what has been experienced as positive in coming out, especially in terms of relationship to the church?
Well, the church has helped me see more clearly what I don't want to be. Is that honest enough?
Sweetie, you wrote the question.
said that, not to sound too arrogant. I grew up not affirming. So it's different when your husband comes out to you as gay. And you're such an awesome person. So there was some, on one level, fairly easy work to do. So church. The good thing about coming out to our church was that it did give me clarity. That horrible amnesia thing I saw over and over as we came out to many, many people, one-on-one-ish, or small groups-ish.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm the pastor of the church that she's speaking of.
So what I saw from the church, and I'm calling it a gift to myself, was people picking up our narrative from Peter coming out of the closet part of the story. And I didn't see nearly enough straight people, including themselves in our story. So I would hear, wow, you're so brave, Peter. And that would be the only kind of sort of positive input and encouragement, which was great. I appreciated any kind of kindness was great. But I was really missing the, oh, I'm so sorry for why you were in the closet. That's got to do with me. So I love clarity because it's just so helpful. It has taken a lot of fear away, that ambiguous kind of, why am I freaked out about sexuality in general? But queer people, why is that such a scary thing in the church for me? So that's gone now. So yeah, I see that still a lot in the church. So I'm looking forward to that clearing up for our church more as well, because it's such a blessing to find reconciliation, even though I didn't think I needed it. It's been a blessing to me. So in a weird sort of way, if I'm making any kind of sense, seeing people clearly not getting their responsibility for people being in the closet has made it easier for me to process. And it's just an amazing blessing that in this coming out stuff, I've gained this fabulous crowd of people. Talk to you later. What have been your top 3 emotions in the wake of coming out?
I think a deep conviction of love. And I say that in the sense that it's paired with fear. But I knew that because of my love for you, I knew that I had to come out to you. I knew that ultimately is what would honor our relationship. And my conviction that one of my mantras has been that love will see you through to the other side. Whatever that other side is going to look like, love, if God is love, then love will hold you through to that other side. And so that was a deep conviction of mine, regardless of what all the valleys and mountains would look like, love would hold. So that's true. But navigating fear, the feeling of fear in the midst of all of that, has been huge. Fear in terms of what damage this could do for our family, fear of what implications would be in the church around financial sustainability, what would the fallout from this, what would it all look like? And so sometimes that was a huge piece. But then also joy. Joy knowing deep down in my being, I am who I am as created by God. A deep conviction that we as LGBTQ people are gifted by the Spirit for the building up of the body of Christ and for contributing what we have as gifts to the human race. And so there's deep joy that when we live into our gifting, when we live into the truth of who we are, that God's Spirit just pours into that and that overflows. So love, fear, and joy. What good have you seen in our marriage since my coming out?
In one way, a lot of the same. Just more. We've always been very tight and not afraid to go there. So this felt really, really good because deep down I knew that there was a conversation that we weren't having, and that wasn't consistent with our style. So, can I say the question again? What good has come from in our marriage? So it just feels really, really good to live more in truth and to have clarity on that. It just, I guess, like we can't bare our souls about everything, we don't even understand ourselves, but I'm just so glad that we understand this about us now. I felt comfortable with you before as a soulmate, and it's just even richer now. So it's gone from really great to really, 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 really great. What would you like from the church?
Come on, Joe! Come on!
We did not write that.
Reach, reader.
I think one of the important things that I would, when I think of generous space, and I think of how we hold difference in this community, in terms of our theological convictions, in terms of our worship styles, in terms of our sexual ethics, there are many things that we navigate generous space because we hold a lot of difference in this group. Around where we are on the LGBTQI spectrum. So we have to have a posture of listening well to each other. And I wish that the church would have a posture of listening well to us.
Amen.
And hearing
Yes.
hearing the truth of our stories, hearing the pain of our stories. I wish that there wouldn't be any more mixed orientation marriages. So even though we are doing well through this, we shouldn't be. And my wish is that younger LGBTQ Christians would not feel pressured that they have to go into heterosexual marriages to fit into the church. So to listen. The other one is to name the harm done.
Yes.
And for there to be reconciliation within the church, we as church, those with power and privilege in church institutions and structures, need to get busy about naming the harm done. And that doesn't matter what theological position you hold. There is plenty to be owned by those who are progressive and those who are traditional, and wherever they are on the spectrum of that. And to own that well and with integrity, to name it well. So if you're coming to my workshop, we're going to look at some examples of what's been done, and that when we miss some of those important pieces to what it means to work towards reconciliation, when we miss or ignore or minimize harm done, we are furthering harm. We are impacting, or we are perpetrating more harm upon us as LGBTQ people. So, yeah, listening and naming the harm that's been done, so that eventually down the road we can work towards true reconciliation.
Yeah.
How have you seen me grow since I came out?
Well, the first thing I think of is it's just kind of you're kind of the same, just more of it, if that makes sense. Just more a new opportunity to shine. So. In his eyes right now. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, just approving, to me, it's been a proving experience again of your quality. You're courageous. You're a thinker. And you're practical. It was a good idea to be in the closet. And it was a good idea not to come out. And when you came out, it was time. And it was healthy, and it was the right time. So yeah, how you've changed, it was more of the good stuff that was already there. Having said that, so we did a lot of coming out one-on-one-ish together. So yeah, the first few coming outs were different from the last ones. The last ones were kind of like yada, 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 yada. And now we're going to the next group. No, never like that. We were always present, and it was always exhausting. But just comparatively, Yeah, at the beginning, it was so scary, like just, you're coming out to me, even, it was like a whisper, I'm gay. And that was enough for that day. And then the next one, I'm not sure, maybe it was your parents, or anyways, they were early. So, yeah, coming out to Peter's dad was something. So Peter was still at the stage, and Peter's dad can't hear. So there was Peter's mom. And then Peter's dad was, "You're having a bad day?" So he had to yell it over and over. So, and we literally had sessions at home where it's like, say it again, Peter. And then do it like this. I'm gay. So that's been really fun. And it was great that we could immediately laugh at that situation. And yeah, so that has not changed either, that we can take things lightly, even brutal things that aren't really actually light. But that's been really fun, that you can be even really happy that you're gay. And I'm right there with you. It's been really, really fun embracing you as a gay man and me as a straight woman. Our sexuality, like, it's been a fun journey together. So if I can lump us both together in that, I've seen that in both of us, and it's been so fun to do that journey together.